One semi-final to go here for the World Championship Series Austin as we determine which Zerg is going to be moving on to play against Neeb. So regardless of who moves on, we will have the same matchup that we had last year in DreamHack Austin, as Neeb's going to have to go up against another Zerg. I am joined at the desk here by two lovely gentlemen once again. And Rotterdam, your first time here. That was a great series just before.
Yeah, it was really awesome, especially that final game. At a certain point, I really thought Major had it. I thought he was going to run away with it when he was setting up the Liberators. He was ready for the Prism at home, but Neeb did a fantastic fantastic job in buying so much time for himself while being under so much pressure in Game 5 of the semi-finals. Yeah, really impressive victory.
Overall, Nathanius, joining me as well, you were a winner regardless because you either had Neeb or a Terran, so you're okay.
That's how you enjoy life. You gotta be able to see things from both sides. I'm a huge fan of Neeb. You know, Roddy and I have been behind him for so long. I'm so glad to see him make it this far. I don't care if he doesn't play Terran. He's a good guy. I love him. Yeah,
he definitely is, and shown a lot of foreigners out there some great inspiration from year to year now, has Neeb. But of course, that brings us nicely on to our next semi-final that we're going to move on to. It will be True going up against Nurchio. True, one of our previous WCS Summer champions, going up against Nurchio, who did win DreamHack Valencia last year. So champion against champion. But Nurchio comes from Europe, where Zergs, and it comes to Zerg versus Zerg, is a pretty figured out matchup.
Absolutely, even in his country. I mean, in Poland, whenever he plays national qualifiers, always got to go up against Elazer, got to play against Guru. So obviously it's a matchup that Nurchio is very familiar with. And these are two guys that are quite familiar with each other. I mean, even in 2017 already, I'm not going to go years back, but even in 2017, they've played against each other in 8 series already. I mean, that's a lot. That's twice a month, basically, that they play against each other in a competitive setting. Nurchio does have the lead though, but True won the last time.
All right, well, I'll get more thoughts from you in just a little moment here, but we're almost ready to begin the proceedings here for our semi-final. So without further ado, we have True going up against Nurchio.
Leave the game soon enough, he's just going to infest all of your units, you Thermal. He's not any way to kill these Ultralisks. GG!
I think this tournament bracket is make me good, I think.
Beautiful fumble!
That fumble is incredible! And that is going to seal the deal. GG!
I didn't feel that good coming into the tournament. I feel like the past 2 weeks weren't very good for me. But I actually practice a lot, and I feel like my play right now is a lot better.
Not looking all that good.
Truly is. I think Uturmos has finally had enough of this game after losing that over to as well. He's going to step on creep. He's going to eat a couple of these bailing shots. He's going to make a last-ditch effort, but he knows.
GG, True.
Well, I played True many times. He's very hard to predict. I don't have any expectations for the match, except that I will do my best. We played a lot online tournaments, but I think I can win.
That's right, what a series we're about to witness. These guys are almost ready to go onto the stage, but short thoughts before we actually get to that. These two have come through the brackets kind of quietly, really. As much as they are big names, they've just casually brushed people aside and found themselves in the semi-finals.
They're both really good is the problem.
That's true.
No one's surprised to see them here. There have been some really amazing stories at this WCS, like I've been going on and on about, Special doing really well, Kelazer, Lambo. So these, you're like, oh, Nurchio's in the semis? No one's really surprised by this. We know he's really good. He's one of the picks to take it from the very beginning.
Yeah, Nurchio is just very consistent, and he is in general very solid. He said he didn't feel that well going into that tournament. This probably means that he lost like 2 ladder games, and he's like, oh, I'm Nurchio. I'm not even supposed to lose on ladder, you know.
Well, if he lost to an NA player.
But I mean, True is kind of a mystery to me, because with True, you never know which True shows up. There are moments where True really looks quite shaky. He looks incredibly one-dimensional, and then suddenly when you think that people have True figured out, he's like, no, guys, it's actually not that easy. My mechanics are incredibly good. Spoke a little bit with Nurchio as well, and Nurchio said like, well, the thing is with with True, he always has more units than you expect him to have.
Yeah.
But his economy actually behind it isn't that bad. And I mean, if we can give out a bloodbath, as Pig would say, achievement of the tournament so far, I mean, True against Snoot on Honor Grounds, what a game that was. It was almost watching a campaign or an animation trailer. It was just a string of units being rallied from like 9 hatcheries at once to the other side of the map. 0 micro, doesn't matter. I will kill you because I've got so many bases. So I think this could potentially be a very fun ZVZ series where I think Nurture is going to be the slightly more cautious player and True is just going to do what he's best at, making a ridiculous amount of units.
Yeah, it feels like they both kind of excel slightly on different areas of the Zerg versus Zerg, whereas Nurture can just kind of push it to the later stages. True feels like the more aggressive kind of player on that side. Is that a fair statement, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I'm definitely not the magical god expert of Zerg versus Zerg, but when you look at the way that True plays, he likes to find those pressure points to get in on. When you think about the series versus Thermal, the run-bys, all that jazz, I expect him to be the aggressor in this series.
Well, we can talk about it in just a moment here as we are ready to welcome our players to the stage. So, Smix, take it away.
Thank you very much, Caleres. Our first semifinal match showcased Mexico versus the USA, and for our second semifinal match, it'll be Poland versus South Korea. Our first Zerg player is a 2-time DreamHack champion looking to make his 7th grand final appearance in his career, and his opponent is the WCS Summer champion looking to make his 3rd grand final appearance. Austin, give it up for Nurture and True!
That's right, the Polish butcher in Nurture going to go up against, as Nate put it wisely yesterday, the jewel in the crown of Psystorm Gaming. True takes to the stage as well. So what can you tell me about True going into the semifinal, guys?
He's a very aggressive player. When I think about True, I think about the guy that plays most of the other matchups. Like I said, I'll see a lot more of the ZVT. And when I see players lose to him, a lot of it comes down to you're trying to play a normal game against a guy who's more than willing to delay his tech to get a giant number of units, which is quite the opposite of what we saw at Nurture yesterday, where he had his hive at 6 minutes and 30 seconds versus Kellezer when he could get it.
Yeah, that was very fast.
I like what you said before we went into the introduction of the players. I really think it's safe to say that if we get into a scenario where they both have 3 hatcheries, they both have +1 or +2 on their roaches, and it's like around 150 supply dead even, I really lean towards Nurture, because I think Nurture is more experienced in that phase in the game. I think he's an absolute master when it comes to taking those engagements with Ravagers, and he does it all the time against Serral, Snoot, and Elazer on the European server over and over and over again. But it's the early game where I think that True might have the slight edge.
Right.
I think there's a good chance we're going to see a couple of early pools. I think we're going to see some aggression. Obviously, it depends on spawning positions on these 4-player maps as well. But yeah, I really think that if True wants to take this series, it's going to be in the earlier phases. I'm not saying that he doesn't know how to make a layer or something, because that's obviously not the case. But I think that's where he might have a slight edge over Arthur. Well, I think Arthur is the slightly better player when it comes to the big numbers of Roaches and Ravagers and perhaps even Infestors.
Yep, I think that's represented in our cheese warning down here as of course, the 17%, the very specific 17% that Jeff loved yesterday, going up against the high rates from True.
And that you can see in the way that he plays the game outside of just cheese. I just think back to the game against Thermal when he gets the drop in, he gets all the drone kills, and then he just boom, Overlord right outside your base, turns it into a drop Overlord just to hop over a depot. That's not something that you see people do. And he will make those snap decisions where he's like, okay, yeah, you did this, but I'm pretty sure, he's so good at being aggressive. He will find those opportunities to get back at you.
Yeah, he's good in being aggressive, and he's just in excellent shape. I was actually talking a little bit with the manager of Psystorm, Pingwing, and he told me, he's like, there was a little time that True was a little bit lazy. He was just kind of, messing around a little bit. And he played a clan where he lost against the North American Protoss, and he just looked in disbelief. He's like, all right, that's it. And he went on the grind again.
Gonna change my ways.
Yeah, 10 hours a day. And right now we're looking at, the True that we saw last year, because he's been damn impressive so far in this tournament. And all of his teammates legitimately believe that he's probably going to win this entire thing if he makes it past Nurture. And they actually think he's going to do that as well.
Well, final thoughts and maybe even some predictions. What are we both thinking?
It's aggression against consistency. I don't know. I kind of like Arthur because Arthur has such a strong record in DreamHacks in general. And I feel that he's been super solid. He has a couple of ZVZs to work with as well from True. So maybe a close 3-2 in favor of Nurture.
Yeah, I think I'd be willing to go that way. I want to see a Nurture Neeb final. I think you can't really be disappointed with however that plays out. So Gonna go Inertio, probably 3-2, they're on.
And at this point, it wouldn't be WCS Austin without us going all 5 maps. So, because we've had a lot of those in this tournament, it's been an absolute belter. For now, though, it's time to get into our second semi-finals to find out who's going to be going up against Neeb as True faces off against Inertio. Let's head over to the commentary team.
All right, what is up, Austin? It is time to see who meets Neeb in the final. Let's introduce the players. In the top right, from Psystorm Gaming, this is True. And in the bottom left, hailing from Poland, this is Nerchio.
And True, he has his image of aggressive player. He's not wasting any time. Already started an extractor and a spawning pool. And we're gonna have some action-packed games here, as I'm sure he wants to be the one setting up the pace and being more on the offensive here than Inertio, who in their last 6 encounters, in the last 2 months, they played 6 times online, which is crazy. That's a crazy amount. Inertio has won 5 of those encounters. I think True is really gonna try his best to use these matches they've played against one another recently to his advantage, learn from it, and try and make some adjustments.
Well, True starting things off in true fashion. Now, I saw a little bit of his series versus Cham, and he definitely whipped out the early pool speedling aggression more than once, trying to deny that expand. But the way that this map works out, that makes it difficult, especially if you expand in the back like this, as Inertio is doing right now. He knows he's up against True. He knows how True plays. And as your countrymen would say, Inertio's ZVZ is incroyable.
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 Absolument incroyable. Inertio, he opted for a safe build there, as you mentioned. Like, he went for his own pull and extractor, not too late. Didn't do anything crazy. You know, like a hatch first would be considered borderline crazy against somebody who likes to play aggressive. We see True, though, he stopped mining gas, so it's not going to be some sort of Baneling. You know, at most, he will be a ton of Zerglings made and then into an attack. On a map where the ramp is quite far away from where the creep is going to be, it's going to be very hard to have Queens in position there to ready and defend. So I think that's what True might be counting on. You see, he's only making links here still. So he's very much so going to commit to this aggression, but it's not necessarily going to be on all-in because he's getting that second hatchery here on at his pocket expansion.
It's a timing, and it needs to do damage for True because he is putting a lot of his lava that could be drones into attacking units. And if Inertio holds without losing too much, he should be just fine. This is going to be a Baneling nest here for Inertio. There it is.
And
so,
that spawning pole positioning is magnificent here for Inertio, by the way. Really protecting his queen from having too much surface area here from those things. He knows, Inertio knows what's possible here to come, and he's perfectly right with it. He's going to start a Spinecrawler. He saw those links on their way already. He's going to be getting only units here from there. Can he defend? That Baneling nest will not finish as early as he would like it to, but if he can buy a little bit of time and reach a couple of Banelings, he's going to be in a great shape here in this game.
Yeah, this SimCity in the main is lovely. The natural is under fire, though, and True is expanding behind this. So this is a nice move from True. If he just wants to try and kill this hatchery, it could pay off pretty well for him. He does still have a worker deficit, though, and Inertio, with this Baneling nest, will be able to engage these lings, but right now, there is an overwhelming number for True. Slow links for Inertio here. Speed not finished right now. So True is reinforcing, getting surrounded around these queens.
Oh, that was the perfect move here. Just before they're going to have some Treant users, one of those do go off, but that queen is going to die as well. And behind is True. He's going to have a ton of links left over. And that was just before Banelings were going to be able to be morphed here there. He might be able to get a hatchery, in which case you mentioned it. There is an expansion behind this for True. He's already caught up on the worker counts.
Yeah, and he's actually going to get even higher in the worker count as he started to take out some of Inertio's drones that got pulled for the defense there. Oh, man. Nice start for True. I got to say, he didn't kill the hatchery, but a nice start for True.
Prevented some mining time. He's ahead by a couple of walkers. He's going to get an overload across the map. Very sloppy here by Inertio to let that happen. Especially considering how broke he's going to be here. 24 walkers to 16. And True, he might have this image of super aggressive player that likes to go for a lot of all-ins. But guess what? This was controlled aggression. And he did exactly what he needed to do here. Got ahead, very far ahead on the economy.
I think a Link Bane attack from Inertio, I think, is, and he is actually making these two Banelings at the front here. So he's going to try and get some damage done to True, maybe get a nice cluster of Lings, maybe look for a drone lab. But True already waddling those queens over to the ramp, and they will both queens be able to block this off.
Yeah, Inertio's droning up already. I think he realized that this was not going to work. Actually messes up here a little bit with the micro. True is a little bit in panic mode, actually. He's getting tricked by this. He's starting a ton of Zerglings. If he had known that Inertio was droning up, he would have gotten his own drones, and because of that, Nurcho is already all caught back up on the walker count, 29-23. It's swinging back and forth.
That's right, droning like a madman. Both players going to be on Lingbane tech here. Does True want to... I mean, when you make this many units and you're not doing anything with them, it is a bit of a waste. So True will likely want to try and get those Lings the other side of the map and see if he can try and crack Nurture. But again, this ramp makes things pretty tough to attack at this stage of the game, when the Queen count gets a little bit higher. I mean, Nurture did lose those 2 queens at the start, but he is making 2 at a time from these hatcheries.
These two players had very different roads here to the semi-finals. Nurcho only had to win 4 series for True coming in from the open bracket. That was 8 series that he had to win, and so far it's been a perfect. He's lost some maps here and there, but hasn't dropped a single series to anybody. And he made a couple of very strong Zergs as well along the way. You know, he beat TLO, Snoot, and Cham, so he's already got some good warm-up in the matchup there, and he's showing.
Nurcho looking like he's going to transition here. He's getting an Evolution Chamber. Lair on the way as well. So does he want to go for Mulus? Does he want to go for Roach? There's a bunch of options here for Nurcho. I think we would have seen a Roach for him by now, but we see that he does have a lot of Banelings here, trying to secure that 3rd base location.
I had a quick chat with Nurcho here before this match. Ooh, actually,
nice trade for True.
Messes up here a little bit, not the end of the world. As long as this hatchery doesn't get blown up behind this. It's gonna get a cancel, like.
Oh yeah, actually, nice move from True there.
Wow.
The Banelings trading with Nurture very, very well. In fact, the Lings getting the gap between the Queens here, and that's quite a lot of pickups here. Gets the 2 Queen kills again, cancels the 3rd hatchery, and gets into the back natural, sees the
The
left.
hatchery is still very weak. I don't think he's gonna target it because he's not that many links. But in this case, True is making the most out of every single unit that he has on the map. He's gonna get yet another Queen.
Oh my God. Nurture having a very bad game 1 here in this series. True managing to really, really hurt him here. 3rd trying to be retaken by Nurture. He's not down and out yet. His worker count still not too bad, but he is definitely behind here against True.
It's quite a few Queens by now that have died here for Nurture, and I think it's really starting to throw him off. He's missing some injects here and there because of that as well. And True really putting in some seriously good work here in game number 1, ahead by quite a few walkers now.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can stabilize from there. We're going to be heading into that 2nd phase of ZVZ with the Roaches against Roaches with missile attacks upgrades.
Nurture again seesawing here, just like the beginning of the game. You hurt me, I'll try and hurt you back, but True just has too much here, and he bats Nurture away, just taking a bit of hit point damage on that 3rd base. See him is very oversaturated here in the natural. Looking forward to getting those extra mineral patches for that extra income. Oh, he's going to lose another Overlord? Does lose another Overlord.
And a pretty quick infestation pit here coming down from Nurture, even before his Roach run is finished. I think he's realizing that he's mining from quite a few gases already. It's 3.
Yeah.
He's going to take some more right now. And it's also a map where it's going to be hard to attack from multiple sides. Like, sure, you got those rocks and the back door towards the natural and 3rd base, but it's very hard to go through those, and a player that's careful enough will be able to defend against this. So might already be thinking about some sort of infestor play with Pathogen Glance.
I agree.
I think he's the likely transition he might want to go into here already.
Yeah, just like if you go for Roach Ravager against Terran and ZVT, the combination with Fungal is so deadly. And if you have less units than your other opponent, this is a mirror matchup, and True is ahead in economy, so he's going to have more units. If you have less units, but you can Fungal them, lock them down, and get those bile connections, and that changes everything.
And keep in mind, it's True we are talking about, right? He opened with a massive Speedling attack, and then he's been attacking with Banelings. What will be the next step? Maybe a mass Roach Baneling attack to try and bust him and kill him. What's good against that? Well, 1 or 2 Infestors, you land that money Fungal on these Banelings, and then that's all she wrote.
Exactly. So that is the game plan here for Nurture. Upgrades going up here. Little Constitution for both players, about to finish Roach Speed. +1 about to finish for both. And True setting his targets here. He's actually taking the 4th base and just slowing things down a little bit.
1 single Infestor out, by the way, from Nurture. No more than 1. He's not... don't have that much gas here just yet, but it's going to be the Steph Curry, the usual, the MVP. It's going to try to land those 3 points. I had a quick chat with Nurture here before the series, and he was telling me that he thinks that he's very confident. You know, it's just the maps, the 4 players map in particular, were one of his worries here, because, you know, it can be a little bit random, especially against somebody like True that's very dangerous. But he told me, he made a bold statement. He said, if the game goes past 10 minutes, I shouldn't ever lose to True.
Well, he's got 40 seconds to lose the game then. We have an Overseer coming in to the 3rd base to have a look and see what's up. Confirms that there's a gold at the, a 4th base at the gold for True. So when the fourth goes up, True will be having an income advantage for a little bit. He already has well, he had rather a healthy worker lead, which Nurchio's caught up on, thankfully for Nurchio. So True back breaking down these rocks, going to be able to get into that fourth base. He possibly may even be able to kill it. So a lot of lings here, and Nurchio's army is down here. There's no creep spread just yet. It's going to be a while on these rocks, actually. Not as many lings as I thought.
There's only one overseer out here for both players, by the way. So if True was to start using Thunder and Klaus here momentarily, he might be able to do really well if he catches Nurchio off guard. That's an interesting overload.
Yeah, I think that's a... I don't think that's deliberate there from Nurchio. That Overlord coming in there, getting picked off by the Queen of True. In fact, Nurchio a little bit supply blocked here. He's got an Overlord on the way. He doesn't have a ton of supply cap to continue to replenish his forces.
If there's one thing you can be sure about, it's that True is going to be attacking when he's maxed out here at this stage in the game. He's breaking down those debris here right outside the gold base. And at the top, he's moving with a massive chunk of roaches here, ready to hit that fourth base of Nurchio.
Oh man, there's so many roaches, and he also has a ton down here, and Nurchio's got his sights set on this roach army, which he thinks is the bulk of True's forces on the bottom. But we know the real story, and that is all the roaches here are coming towards this fourth base.
There's
Meanwhile, an opening here.
Few fungals available, but it's going to be hard to land those here against the very mobile army of True. Let's see if he can get one or two of them here. Nurchio pulling back, choosing to sack that fourth base, realizing there is no way he's going to be able to save it.
Yeah, True's definitely going to get that kill there. That's nice for True, and he has still an army advantage here, and a big income advantage as well. With that fourth base kicking into gear, burrowed roach play from True. He does have overseers though, and of course he's looking for the infestors as well. Does pick off one infestor. There's one still alive. The roaches on the left, a massive fungal from Nurchio. Does he have enough units to make this matter though?
And Nurchio had to panic fungal right there, otherwise his infestor was going to die before he could even cast that. So True, even if he doesn't get cost-effective trades, he just has so much more supply at this point in the gold base. And he just has to kind of regroup, make sure he keeps on maxing out, maybe prevents Nurchio from taking a fourth base forever. Both players going to be squeezing out as many roaches as they can here as they start the carapace upgrades, and Nurchio tries to replenish his infestor count. I think Nurchio should take the gold base, and I think he's going to go for that. And just going to sit there and try to play patiently. That might be his best option here in this game.
Yeah, Nurchio obviously with a gas income advantage. He's taking these gases a lot earlier than True has on his bases to make sure he can get that infestor count back up. A very gas-intensive spellcaster unit for the Zerg. Can change fights if controlled correctly. True with the Burrowed Roach Shark Army looking for a fourth hatchery, doesn't get it. Sees and confirms that Nurchio must be expanding elsewhere.
Yeah, and I like the fact he's already working on a fifth base.
Nice catch from Nurchio. I see you. And he's going to take out these roaches of True, bat them back at least.
There's going to be a gold base cancel here for Nurchio, who knew that there were going to be too many roaches on the right-hand side. Can he land a fungal?
Oh, he doesn't quite have a fungal. Now he does on that infestor there. Coming down from the high ground from that fourth base location, Nurchio has a big surround of True's army. He's breaking off and looking for that infestor kill. He does get it.
Just before he was going to have enough energy for fungal right there, and True, he's making this game a chaotic one, and he's going to thrive in that environment here. Even running past here, a couple of these roaches, he's getting chased down right now. I don't think he cares too much about losing some of these guys. He's a little bit gassed off though. Like, he's got a lot of mineral income thanks to the gold base, but he needs to work on his gas income because you don't want to start having to make links against upgraded roaches. That would be a pretty bad scenario.
Yeah, could get gases at that fourth base. But as it stands, prioritizing the mineral income, making a ton of roaches back at home. Fifth base done for True, and Nurchio struggling to secure a fourth.
Oh, this is like Easter here right now for Nurchio. He's just running around looking for chocolate eggs and kind of finding them on the map.
It's a really scary looking chocolate egg.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of those roaches heading around the top here. Still looking for a fourth hatch cancel. They may get it. He's long distance mining here. Uh-oh.
Wow, Nurchio actually just tried to use corrosive bile on that one overseer of True, and he almost
Oh,
did it on
that's
his
a
own
kill.
army.
That was a kill, no cancel there for Nurchio. There's 300 minerals down the drain, and he doesn't have a huge income to speak of here. Roaches and True decimating the economy of Nurchio.
Wow.
Nurchio's running out of options here, Todd.
And the most important thing that True has been achieving through that is not just sniping those extra bases, that fourth base that Nurchio has been trying relentlessly to take. It's resetting the infestor count. If you let your opponent reach 5, 6 or more infestors with full energy, you're in for a world of pain in the upcoming fight. But no, every single time True took an engagement, he sniped these infestors. And he's going to come in from multiple sides here to engage into this army of Nurchio.
A three-pronged attack here, a huge flank from True. Nurchio has a huge concave at the top. He's going to decimate the bottom forces, but True coming in with the rest from the top. He has the Roach supply advantage, the Army supply advantage, but Nurchio trading very well here, and he's going to actually knock True back with just overwhelming Roach supply and also Defender's advantage.
Yeah, very good defense here by Nurchio. He doesn't have an overwhelming amount of drones, so his army is actually really strong, and he made the most of this, you know, being very good at dodge bile. Always going to be a useful skill. And True kind of struggled here a little bit. With that, he's trying to sneak some roaches past the army of Nurchio.
And he'll get him in here. I mean, the Overseer is probably a little bit of a tip-off there for Nurchio that the roaches are on the way. They're on the same hotkey group.
Nurchio's on the counter-attack, though.
Oh, that fungal and bile is going to kill a lot of roaches. Nice stuff for Nurchio. Big concave, and he's pressing the issue in the fourth. He's got True's roaches in his back, starting to do drone damage to him, though, at the third base. But can True hold against this Nurchio attack?
But there are roaches inside of the natural base, inside of the third base of Nurchio right now, doing some damage. He needs to unburrow this, actually. Hive's going to be cancelled there, a little bit in a panic. And Nurchio, he made the most of this here. He stayed patient. He kept on getting cost-effective trades. He was actually quite a bit behind in resources lost, but if we take a look now, he's been super cost-effective his last few minutes, and he's made True lose a lot more than he has himself now for a while. That fourth base is so important, though.
The Infestor Ravager combo has been so great, whereas True's just been prioritizing Roach, just going heavy Roach, holding that R button. And True actually has a nice amount here, and he's pressing the issue against Nurchio, who has to concede this concave. He has no Infestor energy. The Biles are connecting well, and True splitting his forces a little bit to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. Does take this fight by the looks of things, as he surrounds Nurchio, and he just has way too much supply here. It's crushing through the Ravagers, and that is going to be curtains for the Polish Zerg in game one by the looks of things. GG. True, getting game one in nice fashion there, but Nurchio really made that a fight.
Fantastic game here. True, very well conducted. You know, this wasn't just a cheese with which he attacked and won a very quick game. No, every single step all the way did the right things, kept on resetting that Infestor count, knew that he was going to have way more expansions than Nurchio, and very nicely done here out of him after this game. You know, it's going to be very hard for Nurchio to stay composed and tell himself that, you know, he's still the better player and he can just go for a regular game plan, because that was extremely convincing a performance here from True in game number one. Yeah.
Now, I think that like Nurchio, obviously, he wants the later games. Like the European Zergs have a certain style, minus Bly. He wants the latest games. He wants to be able to use that advantage, like that late game control. He's multitask to be able to do the run bys and everything that he loves to say. Like every matchup, Nurchio loves run bys. He loves splitting forces, using his multitask to get wins against people like True, like Terran players as well. And True likes to bring it down to a dirty bare knuckle fist fight. So
that's one way to put it.
Yeah. And True did a lot of early damage to Nurchio there, and it just seemed like Nurchio, you know, went past that 10-minute mark that Nurchio was talking about, but he took so much damage and couldn't get that fourth base up that late game that he wanted wasn't looking as clean for him as he would have expected at that point.
That fourth base really is the biggest difference. You know, a lot of players, they will be on 4 or 5 bases against somebody who's on 3 bases, and their priority will be to keep on fighting and then reinforcing and keep on fighting, but then you wouldn't be cost-effective enough. So True prioritized very well, and it paid off. But here we are, game number 2 on Belcher Vestige.
In the top left, he's doing it again. This is True! And in the bottom right, from Euronics Gaming, this is Nurchio!
Widely regarded as one of the heavy favorites here heading into this tournament. There is only so many players who had over 7,000 MMR Maynards.
That's right.
Actually, there were 5, I believe, of them.
Now, this is a pretty safe opening from Nurchio. It's not going hatch first or anything like that. It's going pool first without gas, so slightly more economic. But this generally means that Nurchio is going to be in a pretty good spot. When someone goes this early for a pool, but you don't go hatch first, you actually, you know, you have more drones, you have a little bit more income, and you have a defender's advantage. So generally, as build orders go, Nurchio should come out on top, but I've seen True whip out some pretty crazy stuff, so we'll see.
I think the mistake last game for Nurchio was maybe to take the fight too early at his natural when he was on the siege from the Zerglings. Maybe should have waited until he was a little bit lower in hit points. and then fought with the queens and zerglings. Because if you fight too early and you don't have enough, then what happened favorized True very heavily. You know, he got rid of the queens, the zerglings, and then from there it was all downhill for Nurture.
Now True's actually not just going for speed links.
Yeah.
He's getting a very early Baneling nest as well. So this is even more aggressive than the start that he had in
This
game
time
one.
it's all in.
Yeah.
Last game it wasn't. Last game he had to do damage, but he wasn't all in. He was
Yeah, he
expanding
expand-
behind. This
exactly.
time he's gonna commit everything he's got to this. He's gonna put all of his eggs in one basket and hope that Nurture makes a mistake yet again, moves down the ramp with those queens and gets blown up.
And Nurture would love to save this hatchery. We'll see if he'll be able to, though. I mean, does he want to pull drones? Does he want to get the queen down here? It's a choice that he needs to make at this point. True's pressing this problem. He's just trying to get this hatchery down. So far, so good for True.
He still starts a hatchery across the map. He's trying to sell this as if he wanted to macro behind this. Whereas he's only on 12 walkers this time around.
The Overlord of Nurture, I don't think he's seen the Baneling. Oh, he does have a Overlord on the way here, so we will see these Banelings getting morphed by True.
I think
Speed
he has
is
to
done.
forfeit that base.
Yeah, I can't see him saving this, especially with the Banelings here now. Cannot pull down the ramp. He does have his own Banelings to be able to defend. True starting to press the attack, though. The Spine Crawler not done just yet, just in time for Nurture. And he does have 4 Banelings of his own now to be able to defend.
Yeah, and he
does lose the loses the second base here, though.
He can just re-expand behind this, start to quick spread maybe to move down that spine on the low grounds. He's got his own bailing, so defensively he should be good enough here for Nurture. He should know right now that he's ahead on the walker counts. He's gonna try to re-expand. That was not worth it. Not same thing.
True's Ling Cluster picking off Banelings here of Nurture. 2 queens coming down the ramp, batting away, using their long-range attacks to get their Overlords and also snipe Banelings. They can definitely tank the hits, especially with the Banelings of Nurture to be able to help out. And this time, he should be able to get the hatchery. There it is. Oh, wow.
Whoa, a bit of a panic here for Nurture, who thought that was going to be enough here to get the snipe. And he saves that drone here, making an extractor. That's going to be a hatchery starting, as True's hatchery is already out on his side of the map. So even though he's behind on walkers, True should be able to catch back up.
Yeah, extra lava production, of course, means that more drones can be created here for True. And Nurture doesn't really have like a huge army to be able to go across the map and use the army that he made to defend to put some counter pressure on True here. We're seeing that he is making more lings. He hasn't gotten speed just yet. That's on the way. It's actually a smart decision from Nurture, all things considered, because Banelings are a lot more important to be able to defend against that.
Yeah, speed wouldn't have finished on time to help and save his second hatchery anyway, so...
Double expand the option here for Nurture. So he's going to try and catch back up by getting a very, very quick third hatchery to try and get the lead back versus True. But True's also taking his third, decides against it, okay.
He saw an overload there. Maybe that's what told him that he shouldn't go for this if this gets spotted. And True actually doesn't have an overload around the third base of Nurture, so I see a Ling on the left-hand side of the map. He might want to send that across to scout that, make sure he's aware of what's going on, and then from there he can decide how aggressive he wants to be about it, if at all.
Yeah, this Ling should eventually spot this third base of Nurture, giving True the information he needs. Nurture looking for that third hatchery cancel. He's coming down here with the Lings. 2 Banelings of True, though, should be able to bat this away.
Hashtag worth.
Yeah, Lings go down here. So, Nurture gearing up, taking that natural back. The natural is done. Third hatchery just a few seconds away from finishing here, and he's droning pretty heavily right now. True as well, though, back at home. Not too many attacking units for either player on the other side, but they're both sort of, Nurture is trying to chip away for a little bit of damage. He's taking the middle of the map, but it's all about the economy right now.
And Nurture actually using some queens here to get an overload in the middle of the map. That also might ring a bell for True that there could be an attack incoming. Has to start multiple overloads here to not stay supply blocked too long.
Yeah, Nurture getting these queens. Sniping Overlord there. Supply blocking True. Nice little move from Nurture. Nurture's Lings coming in here, having a look and seeing what's up. They're not here to do damage. They're here to get scouting information for their Zerg Master. They didn't get into the main to see that lair, whether it was finished or not, unfortunately. To see if there was a lair or not, rather. And you can see that Nurture, he is going for tier 2 here with a Roach Warren a lot earlier than True.
Nurture actually already has a lot of gas. He's been on multiple gas for a little bit. And he's doing very well with that. With the way earlier layer that he has, if he was to go into Infestors again, I think he might be able to do way better. Like on this map, it's going to be harder for True to attack in multiple locations like he was doing as well and deny the fourth base, even though it's definitely doable. But on this map, you know, you got Xel'Naga towers in the middle of the map that's going to help you spot. You can still have a lot of overlords in the middle of the map.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, with faster lair and with this kind of gas bank that Nerchio is getting for himself, well, the gas bank that he had before he started making roaches and banelings, he can get faster roach speed with the lair finishing earlier. He can get his upgrades earlier. He can get investors earlier.
If you want to Aspire also, that's possible, right? With this gas. You just make a couple Mutas, you get rid of the overlords in the middle of the map, you force a reaction from your opponent to maybe have to get some spores, extra queens, and then sometimes they even go Hydralisks later on.
Well, True's taking all these gases here. All the guys is being taken here for True, and Lair's finishing up. We'll see if he changes up his tech. Yeah.
Infestation Pit again here for Nerchio. So he wants to do the same thing. I like his position a lot better here than in the previous game. And the Spire actually starts for True there.
Yeah, when you see all the gases get taken and you don't see roach upgrades and that sort of thing go down, that's generally going to be the case. And True will be able to get a cluster of mutas out. Let's see if that changes this game, because Nerchio, he's going to sit back because he's not going for a huge roach timing or something like that. He's waiting for infestors. He's getting +1. He's getting roach speed. Not enough units from Nerchio to get damage done here.
I wonder if Nerchio is able to realize that this very well might be a Spire here from True, because he saw 5 of the gases out of 6 being taken by True here through rigorous scouting.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, Infestation Pit takes 36 seconds to complete, and a Spire takes 71, so you're gonna have your Infestation Pit way earlier. Infestors, they're pretty good against Mutas if they can fungal them and catch a lot of them. So Nerchio, if he was to start Burrow, start to get a bunch of Infestors and builds up some energy, this could be very dangerous for True, even if he obviously is not gonna make that many Mutas, because you don't get a Spire in this matchup to stay on Mutas for a very long time. Unless you want to get really tricky, a lot of the time it's going to be just a few here and there, maybe 5 to 6, 8 at most.
Well, he is banking a lot of minerals and gas here. We'll see he's getting 10 mutas on the way here. But Nerchio, he's dropping a Hydra Den. I think he actually knows exactly what True's up to here. He's getting the Hydra Den back at home. He's got Infestors on the way, and he's got a lot of roaches. And that's the dangerous thing when you're the muta player. You don't have an impressive ground army. And True does have a, he's got an army supply, but a lot of that's in Zerglings.
Yeah, and True is actually, doing that other thing. He doesn't want to get just a few mutas to snipe overlords. He wants to play super tricky. He wants to get a ton of mutas and hope that Nerchio makes a mistake, doesn't have enough spores, maybe takes economic damage. And usually when you go for this kind of army, even just fighting against your opponent's army is still going to be really tough. So if he thinks that he can beat Nerchio's army, he might be going for a base trade, going around with the Zerglings and counter-attacking. We're not there yet. Like, obviously, for these mutas to be in real danger, there needs to be quite a few Hydralisks on the map. And so far, there's just a very few.
With this many mutas, you can actually start to burn down Spore Crawlers and get those drone kills without losing too much. Actually, True's losing quite a few mutas here. He is getting 8 drones, though.
Yeah.
Not sure if worth. Spore Crawler killing 3 mutas there.
Destroying the economy of Nerchio here a little bit. He's
trying to secure a 4th hatchery.
Yeah, and both players are actually spreading a little bit, like they're not focused on it a ton here in this matchup. It still gives the opponent the speed as well when they step on creep. Wouldn't it be a sight if it wasn't the case?
Nerchio with a very scary ground force. He has Hydralisk as well. Hydras have +1 attack. Gonna be pretty scary against these Mutalisks. +2 attack on the way for Nerchio. Actually,
those links. The fungal. Oof, he sends. I thought he was going to send a 2 in advance to clear the path, make sure there is no infestors there. A little bit surprised that Nerchio didn't burrow earlier, but if Nerchio lands a big fungal there, it's going to be lights out almost instantly for True.
It's also, I mean, he's looking for the muta cluster or the army here. If the mutas get...
the links, like, you see that huge pack of links. If you imagine if he landed this on that.
Well, any big hit to True's army will spell doom, because Nerchio's army hits harder. Oh, there's a nice fungal there on those links, and Nerchio will be able to clean these up.
It's nice, but from there, True is going to be a lot more on alert modes against the fungals than he was even before, because now it already happens.
Yeah, his Overseers. Did he get Overlord speed? I didn't see. We have the mutas here. That's a huge flock of mutas for True. You generally don't see this many in ZVZ, but True is a tricky boy, and he's going into the main. I think there's still only 2 Spore Crawlers, and I think with +1 attack on these mutas, he can actually burn them down. He will.
And it's so hard for Nerchio to be everywhere. True has been threatening all over the place. You can't have your infestors spread out as much as you want when you have these few, right? Like, he could have maybe left one for the main base, but I don't think he expected True to play such a fearless Muta style here. He literally just flew in the main, like he owned it and cleaned it up so far.
Nerchio is going to have Hive in a minute here, so he's going to be able to get +3 attacks. He's going to get tier 3 units. And
True's army, like, it's very mobile. The Mutas are good, but in an actual fight, fungal would land and he would lose a ton of units.
And another tricky thing is Vipers also have Parasitic Bomb, and that is on the way here for
Oh, in the main. He lands one of
big
the
fungal
fungals.
in the Mutas. Huge fungals. Does he have any units, though, to be able to capitalize? Hydra's coming in from the natural. There's still so many Mutas here from True. His Ling's even coming in to help out the Mutas as they tear apart the main base.
And True is coming into these Mutas. They may be low, but they regenerate their hit points very quickly. He's going to take out the Infestation Pit and
He
kills one of the
Viper as
Vipers.
well. Oh, man. Nurture losing a hatchery here. The Sporting Pool also going to go down. He's just going for a huge counterattack across the map because he knows that these Mutas have done critical damage.
Oh, the Infestors. He gets another fungal here, does Nurture. There's no Overseer nearby to spot these guys. Now, there it is. But these Mutas have taken so much damage already, and the Vipers not able to hit early enough and use Parasitic Bomb here on this Muta floor.
Man. These expensive tier 3 units getting hurt done by these Mutas, and Nurture on the other side of the map getting hurt done himself as he takes that one hatchery. Looks like another one about to go down, and he's pressing this advantage with his ground forces.
Both players going for the jugular, the economy of their opponents. We have some sort of base trade here right now. Nurture across the map, taking out the bases of True super quickly, but all alike. True is doing the same thing, and he still has a ton of Mutas left over. He's 31 Mutalists against 3 Hydralists and 7 Ravagers, and only 1 single Queen.
And it seems like True, if he takes these Mutas back and actually kills the army of Nurture, he won't lose. Like, I think he can actually fight this with these Mutas. And he realized he's coming back with all of his units now. Does True clean up Nurture and stop this attack?
True is down to 4 drones, and I think those guys are gonna die as well here. Nurture needs to get a ton of spores here right now across the map, because otherwise, I don't think he's gonna survive much longer in this game against this many Mutalists.
Well, Spawning Pool is on the way still for Nurture. Can't make
Actually,
it
yeah,
just
that's the big deal. The fact that he lost the spawning pool, he
Yeah.
can't make spore crawlers
That's
right now.
exactly
Nurture is so rich, he would love to be able to make a ton of spore crawlers on his main mining base on the left-hand side, but he can't even do that.
Well, actually, it looks like the spawning pool is done, and spores are going to go up now for Nurture. And if he turtles here, he's actually got a huge worker lead. And these Mutas aren't going to be able to do too much against that many spores. Like, yes, there is a ton of Mutas. Yes, they'll clear up this army, but they can't kill Nurture right now.
Yeah, True has nothing on the ground. He's got 4 links, doesn't even have the minerals to restart a hatchery. Most of his buildings are gonna bleed out here in the main. Remember, those extractors don't bleed out, so that might be what Nurture would wanna target there. But Nurture is still being mining across the map. Those 4 links actually finally coming into play on the left-hand side, but I mean, there is a Queen. Drones could get rid of these guys.
Yeah, and they do. They bat the Lings away. Spores, definitely the priority target here for True. Doesn't have enough DPS in this army, and the Mutaflock is coming in. Does the Mutaflock win against these Spore Crawlers? Oh, so many spores from Nurture. The Mutas are going ham. They're starting to get thinned out.
There are still Vipers, by the way, trying to gain some energy right now, trying to go for this Parasitic Bomb, which if those Mutas are already low, they will take a ton of damage from these guys. True, down to his last few forces, trying to win map number 2 here with these last few Mutas that he's got. He's giving everything here right now.
He still somehow has 16 units, 16 Mutas. He's got still more Spore Crawlers to deal with, though, and they are starting to get thinned out. The Viper coming down. Will this Parasitic Bomb kill these Mutas? There's no stacked up. Oh, big Parasitic Bomb. GG. Nurture tying it up 1 apiece.
Shaking his head here a little bit, thinking that this was way harder than it should have been. Perhaps a little more scouting, and he would have known that he was just massing Muta. He would have been more ready for it. And he also was probably surprised by the fearlessness of True, just flying into that main base of Nurture like he owned it and killing everything. When you have Infestors and Hydralisks, there are not many Zergs who are going to dare doing that, but True is one of them. And it almost brought him success here in map number 2.
I can tell you for a fact, you know, I don't know Nurture super well, but I know that he does not like playing these kinds of games. But he manages to use that advantage in that last game, making the right decisions in the end there against a very weird, scrappy style from True. So many Mutas. You definitely don't see that many Mutas usually in ZVZ, but True going really, really all you know, invested into all those Mutas, making it work for the most part, but not able to seal the deal in the end. It was very, very close.
True may not have won that game, but in the mental warfare one, he's still doing pretty well, I think, by making it this close with a style that we don't see very often in ZVZ. Joins the lobby and immediately says, good job.
Or what else can you say? It was a good job.
Yeah. There are a lot of things you can say, right?
Game 3 will be on Abyssal Reef. Last time I saw True on this map was versus Cham, and he did do early pool shenanigans, did kill Cham's second hatchery.
Yeah, this is really the stage where we're gonna see Nurture a lot more adjust his own build to try and countering the one of True, but then there's always the question of, will True make adjustments himself, or does he still do the same opener that we saw in the 2 previous games, with the quick extractor straight into the spawning pool?
All right, let's get into it, guys. Game 3 has loaded, and we'll see who takes the map advantage in the second semifinal of WCS Austin. All right, in the top left here, from Psystorm Gaming, this is True. And in the bottom right, this is Euronics Nurchio. Battle of the aggression here. Both players going for mirrored openings, the early gas, early pools.
Yeah, True doing the same thing he did in the 2 previous games, and Nurture saying, you know what? You want a piece of me?
You want to play dirty? I'll play. You want to play rough?
I'm right there, and I'm ready for you. And
right.
It's going to be the same opener here from him. We might have fireworks here on Abyssal Reef, a map on which, around the natural base, there's a huge space which would be pretty hard to wall off if Nurture tried to play. You can't really go gasless anymore in ZVZ, you know, we don't really see that much. Even bringing the Queens at the ramp, not one of the easiest maps here to do this. So Nurture going to be opening very similarly to True, and I can't wait to see who gets the better end of those things, because on one hand, you have Nurture saying, I'm ready to play the same style as you and see how well I do against you, but all alike, True, it feels like he dragged him down into this world, right?
Yeah. Nurchio, not afraid to play rough if he has to. He's going for the Baneling Nest. Nurchio putting the aggression shoes on here.
Yeah, True actually stopped mining gas here.
Yeah, True got the earlier queen. He just wanted to get some lings out and pressure Nurchio a little bit and focus on getting, you know, more lava production, maybe even looking at an expansion. But Nurchio, he's got a different idea.
Upon seeing lings, True actually hides out on the map, and he doesn't start mining gas anymore. He starts his Spinecrawler at home, but he's very exposed at the front there. Sure, he's got a queen, but that one could be targeted pretty quickly. He's gonna head across the map to try and counter-attack here against Nurchio, who is hoping he's droning, and guess what? Nurchio has been droning behind this. There is a chance this catches him completely off guard. He's gonna leave 2 lings at home. Probably to go for some banelings.
Yeah, he's going to make those 2 lings into banelings by the looks of things. Defending banelings very, very important here. We have the lings coming up into the main. Oh, doesn't look like they get made into banelings in time. Speed is done for True. And in they come into the main of Nurchio. Some of the drones being microed here to be trying to save this queen. And it looks like he will be able to save it.
Yeah, good defense for Nurchio. He did lose the drone, but it's not the end of the world here. Right now, there's still 1 drone ahead somehow.
Somehow, some way.
He forced the spine, I guess, which helped.
Yeah, and that spine's actually going to make it tough for banelings to get anywhere near that drone line. It's pretty hard nut to crack for Nurchio. Big circling ball of True heading across, trying to circumnavigate the Overlords and trying to catch Nurchio unawares, looking for that natural hatchery.
And behind this, we see True still making a ton of Zerglings, whereas Nurchio, he went back into drones. I think he's going to want to expand, sees that there's a lot of things there. He gets a huge detonation here onto those Banelings.
Yeah, that was a lovely connection there for Nurchio, and the Lings of True take a big hit. Oh, it's enough to deny this drone, though. Oh, Big Mama Queen saying, no, don't you touch my babies. Drone will be able to
exactly what she said. And then
Correct.
she said to that Overlord, get off my lawn here. 2 queens chasing that outside of the natural of Nurchio, and he's going to get it. Ling's gonna try to defend it. No, he does not get it. Nice save here. And True is even gonna be able to get one of those queens, maybe the second one as well. Wow.
The second one's gonna live, but 1 queen going down, that still hurts you at this stage of the game. That's a lot of production there. More Lings from True. He's holding that C button.
Mama Queen was way out of her depth on this one.
Yeah, a little bit. Single Baneling of Nurchio, finishing off what's left of True there. Not the most efficient trade, considering there's a lot more Lings from True heading across here. Nurchio losing another Ling scrap in the middle here. Really wants to secure this natural base. He is getting it a little bit earlier than True. Gotta get those Banelings up.
Yeah, they're about to finish. And they're gonna force True back, I believe there. Later, Actually, yeah, similar timings on the expansion, but True just a little bit later with that.
He's spending so much lava on Lings here while he's trying to get that second hatchery up.
Huge
look at the
disparity.
look at the huge worker advantage for Nurture at this point.
Look at the Walker supply.
I'm looking at it. I mean, True does have, you know, more than double the army supply, but Nurture has Banelings. He can deal with a large cluster of Lings.
Yeah, actually, like this is quite bad right now for True to be so many walkers behind. He needs to work on that, I guess, but he's just been making so many units and they just haven't done much for him. Some more Mama Queens chasing another Overlord across the map here from True.
Yeah,
Should be able to get it. There are no Zerglings around to save that.
That will supply block Nurture for a little while here. So the second, this extra Overlord is coming down. He's trying to get his third base. Baneling waiting for True though. Oh, not on hold position. So that's actually one Ling for one Baneling. Nice trade for True. He's going to send one Ling in, a scouting Ling to see, is there a third base? Is there another Baneling I can pick off? And I think alarm bells would be ringing for Nurture here, but he's like, okay, he's probing, he's trying to kill Banelings. This guy wants to kill my third base. The Queens are coming up, and it looks like this may be a cancel. Not enough units here from Nurture. The Baneling's not here in time. There's the cancel. Big pick off there for True, but also loses a good chunk of Zerglings to that Baneling.
Yeah, not the end of the world, I think, for Nurture. He's seeing some Lings instead of the main of True there.
Yeah, he certainly does. Nice drone drill macro there from True to keep the drones alive. The Lings, very, very low hit points going to the Natural instead, doing ring around the rosy with the big Mama Queens here. They're going to get a drone or two, maybe even 3 drones. Nice little move there from Nurture. True doing some damage as well, and also canceling the third base again.
And we have a True ahead on the walker count here now. Somehow, some way, he's getting 7 more drones right now. He's going to take a big lead in that department. ZVZ is interesting, man. There's never anybody that's ahead for like more than 1 minute.
It's a knife fight, and even with the expansions and the patches, it will always be a knife fight. 2017, 7 years of ZVZ. It's a matchup that can turn on its head instantly. There's a bunch of Lings coming in here from Nurture, looking for anything juicy to pick off there. They don't get any Queens. The Evo Chamber making things a little bit more tough for him. True just controlling those Lings in the last minute there. Doesn't lose everything to those Banelings. It's like 1 or 2 Banes going to be picked off. Nice pickoffs there for True. Always want to train a single Ling for a Baneling if you can. Nurture saving, nope, doesn't save that Baneling.
And Nurture still with a way earlier third base there, but he's behind on the walker count. He's getting a ton of unit start right now, actually, whereas True is the one that's droning up and staying on 2 bases.
Yeah, True trying to cancel the third base again. This time Nurture will be able to bat him away and get it up. Oh! That Baneling connecting very nicely with the Zerglings of True. And with all these units, I think Nurture should absolutely press this attack. He's got a very large army here.
Yeah. And remember, on the other hand, from True, we don't have a Baneling Nest. He's not going to be able to match these numbers. He's going to wall off, though. He has a lot of Queens and Zerglings here in that position, plus the Spine that can shoot True. This is a brilliant move there. Nurture was only on 1 gas for a very long time, by the way. True's already mining from 3.
And True's already producing roaches. Nurture just getting his roach warren up. The lair is much earlier for True as well, so he's going to have stronger roaches with earlier roach speed versus Nurture, who's just got a huge Ling army, which is being completely denied by this Evo Chamber and also Roach Warren and Queen Wall.
Yeah, I wonder if True maybe goes for a timing here down the line with the +1. He did start that earlier. He wasn't like super early in comparison.
All these Queens are a little naked here. I think the Lings actually could surround the Queens and hurt them. Oh, not with the roaches reinforcing now.
Clear reconstitution on the way here for True as Nurture. His lair finishes just now. He's not mining from 3 gases. But he's not even working on his drone count here. Both of them at 47 and 45. Burrow actually started here for a second, but then got cancelled by Nurture.
Looks like Nurture is clearing out the rocks here to have a faster attack path. Of course, that actually gives True a faster attack path as well.
I think in the previous game, actually, Nurture didn't do a great amount of scouting, and I think he's looking to try and fix that there a little bit more, so that's why he's trying really bad to send some Zerglings inside of the main base of True. He did make an Overseer, but that was mostly to clear up the Script Tumors.
The Overseer actually also sees that there's a large roach contingent from True heading across the map towards his base, but does True want to press this issue knowing that he knows he's been scouted?
And double upgrade from True as opposed to 1 single Evo here from Nurture. That could be really good. If you can get a couple upgrades ahead, say 2, he would be in a great position to just win the fight even if he had less units. Which might not necessarily be the case, considering how it's looking right now. Already long distance mining from the third base. Nurture adding on his own second evolution chamber. And already morphing into a couple Ravagers.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen True. Oh, True's getting a second Roach Warren? Okay. Sure.
Break it down for us, Maynard. Here's the cancel.
I'll break it down for you. It was a mistake. There you go. My analysis is complete. So we have,
Good job.
we have Infestation Pit on the way here for Nurture. And we know that Nurture loves hit fungals, he loves Ravagers, that's how he wants to play. Whereas True's the guy that just likes to make a giant Roach army and just overwhelm. Oh, that said, changing things up a little bit here.
Yeah, it's one of these maps where
I love this.
The third, fourth, and fifth base are very close together. So if you want to play a little bit more of a turtle style and kind of build up a huge army from just taking these bases and camping a little bit, definitely is the right map for you. Now, given all things and how Nurture's been playing, definitely think that this is a good opportunity for him to try and go for that. Just get a couple infestors, keep on expanding, max out, go into Hive Tech and tech True in deep trenches.
Now, True is, I think he's got Carapace already. Yes, he does for his units. And he is getting +2 rather. So he's going to have a little bit of an upgrade advantage window for a little bit, getting Tunneling Claws, of course, because it's True.
He's very good with that, actually.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the tunneling Claws Roaches going for Workline Harass. And you can even set up incredible engagements with that ability. It's a very strong ability.
In game number 1, he really made the most of his Roaches through having that upgrade.
And True's going, he's going old school ZVZ here. He's getting Pathogen Glands first before making his infestors, so they will actually hatch with Pathogen Glands. But just Roach Infestor at this stage. And Nurture got to use the Fungal and Bile combination.
Yeah, I think he's just waiting to make the Ravager still a little bit later. Like, you don't have to rush him as long as you're not going to be fighting anytime soon. As long as they're ready for the fight, you're doing well. And Nurture might be really surprised by this. You know, like you play against True, you might not necessarily expect him, you know, to go into full Snoot mode and just get a ton of Roaches, try to get a lot of Infestors with Pathogen Glands, which in a way is even a little bit greedy, I would say.
Fungals at the ready already for these Infestors of True. And Nurture going for an attack. This could be actually very dangerous for Nurture with these Infestors already hatched. Oh, he is coming up the wall looking for that Roach Warren. He could deny Tunneling Claws here. It's very, very close to finishing. Corrosive Pile's coming down. Oh, actually biling one of his own forces.
Oh, and he did nice Tunneling Claws.
He does, yeah.
He was like 1 or 2 seconds away from finishing. A pretty big deal.
And a very dangerous, oh, getting a Queen. Nice little pick up there for Nurture.
Roach Warren has to restart, and that's going to be a long time until he can't make Roaches. He should have kept the second Roach Warren.
He should have kept the Roach Warren, Todd. Oh, my God. Anyway. We have this Burrowed Infestor here. We have this Burrowed Infestor here from True, being very, very dangerous for Nurture. Nurture managing to get damage done and not taking huge hits to his army. And Hive on the way for the Polish Zerg.
Yeah.
Going to have tier 3 very, very soon here.
He's droning up quite heavily here, trying to catch back up, knowing that there's a good chance True's going to be ahead on the work account, and he's by quite a bit. Remember, base number 4 and number 5 are very close together as well. Quite easy to take on this map. Both players having so many overlords on the map actually gives them so much vision and really allows them to realize how safe they are. I like the spines on the natural, by the way, for True with the Overseer. Like, if Tunneling Claws Roaches were to get in there, these guys could defend by themselves. You don't have to leave any units.
Well, Nurture is getting Burrow, but that's for the Infestors to make sure that they stay as safe as possible. Macro Hatch is going up for True, and he's getting his Hive as well. Not too far behind Nurture's Hive. The upgrades evening up for both players, but True about to get +2 Carapace a little bit earlier. Getting Overlord speed as well, make sure that he can see what is up around the map. Faster Overseers, of course, also going to be amazing. And Hydralistan going to be thrown in for the tech path of Nurture. And I really want to see Lurkers in this game, Todd, because Abyssal Reef has a lot of choke points. There's a lot of areas where Lurkers can be extremely effective on this map.
And Nurture, one of the best Lurker users out there. We've seen him so many times against Protoss. Use those guys to the most of their capability, really. Wouldn't be surprised if he went down that route eventually, but the priority is always going to be those missile attacks level 3, which make a world of difference.
Oh, nice fungal there from True, going to catch some of those Roaches of Nurture. Another nice fungal at the top there, but plenty of energy left for Nurture's fungals as well. He has a little bit of a concave. Nice catch. The Biles are going to connect with it quite a bit. And there's the nice catch for True, but not that many Biles. Nurture is just so good with these kind of engagements, and he is knocking True all the way back to this 4th base location, or 5th base, I should say.
Didn't have an Overseer up until this point here. Nurture looking to try and land some more Bile. Oof,
It's a
They
very
land
hurt
big
army.
time there. But if you look at the economy behind this, True has way more, even if he's not cost effective in that fight. And he gets one of the Infestor here on the chase. The Infestor count actually for both has been pretty much reset for Nurchio, whereas True still has 5 Infestors. If he just keeps on maxing out here, he might be able to start playing aggressive. Look, he's still on the chase.
Yeah, no, I mean, the army of Nurture at the end there, I was going to say it was just very, very, very damaged. And with the reinforcement roaches of True, managed to bite a lot of them away as they tried to retreat for Nurture. So Nurture is in a situation he's going to have +3 a little bit earlier. He's starting to get the Infestor count up a bit. Did he get Pathogen Glands in the end? I'm not sure if he did, no. So that's an advantage for True whenever he tries to replenish that Infestor count.
Might be time for True to put on his space snorkel suit here on Abyssal Reef and go forward hunting for some roaches and infestors. As he might be looking to try and do the same thing here to that wall of Nurture, where if you kill one of the Evo and the Roach Warren and there isn't a safety one, the opponent won't be able to make roaches for a long time.
True's
Remember,
gonna deny +3 here. +3 gets denied.
Wow.
Lovely pick off for True. And these Infestors with plenty of fungal energy going to come up here. No fungals yet for Nurture. He has one Infestor. Looks like it may have one.
Nurture not allowing True here to get onto the high ground, but that Roach Warren is gonna fall.
Oh, it's getting very low. Yeah, there
And that's
it
not
goes.
only a Roach Warren. Behind this, he cannot remake roaches. Nurture immediately restarts it, but if True fights right now, even if he loses a ton of units and he's not necessarily that cost effective, remember, he's got a huge bank behind this. He could remax way faster than Nurture would.
Oh, nice catch there from Nurture. A lot of the biles going down there hitting the roaches, but another great fungal from True, and he's got fungals to spare. Fungals for days from the South Korean Zerg. He is doing a great job here. Concave and high ground advantage for Nurture, but just way more fungals for True. Nurture coming in from the back, starting to pick off these higher gas units. The Infestor's getting picked off. Does Nurture hold here?
Look at the supplies, not macroing behind this. Nurture needs to start making more units. True, he may have lost a ton of units, but he's going to remax extremely fast here in this game. And he's got his +3 on the way. Nurture never really got to restart that.
No, he lost the Evo chamber.
He has another one on his natural, but he never restarted it. He forgot about it completely. I think he might not have the minerals and gas for that, plus remaking a maxed out Roach army, which right now is the priority because he thought he might die here very soon.
Yeah, it's absolutely much more important that he has an army at this stage of the game. If he doesn't have an army and True decides to attack, that's it for Nurture in game 3. So decides to do that. Maybe when he has a bit more time, a bit more of a bank, can get +3. He's getting muscular augments actually to make sure his Hydra's a little bit quicker. Hydras are a nice little addition. They do a lot of DPS, but I don't know if we'll be seeing Lurkers. It's going to be a while before Nurture is able to afford that kind of tech, and the Lurker tech takes a long time to morph.
Ultralis Cavern actually goes down here behind this for True, still fishing for that fungal here. He's the only one with an Infestor right now, even though there's 3 about to come out here for Nurture. He takes the big engagement. True with the massive bank still behind this.
Yeah, True remaxing with 19 more roaches on the way. Nurture making more roaches as well. He remade that Roach Warren. +3 done for True, so his army is stronger.
I think he should fight. He's got +3, even though there are Hydralisks, as long as he doesn't take a really bad position or bad engagements. He's got Spine Crawlers at home. He barely needs any units here to defend. Just go for the fight.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Nurture's Infestors are here. Looks like he may have a fungal. But again, without Pathogen Glands, these Infestors don't hatch without much energy. Takes a little bit for them to get battle ready, I guess. Chitinous plating at +3. Armor on the way for True. That's a huge fungal. Some of the biles connecting.
Yeah, True in the meantime, taking a 6 base. Nice burrow there. He's going to regenerate the hit points on all of these roaches. You don't want to get fungal when you're on the ground, though. Huge fungal lands on so many roaches.
Yeah, and Nurture also reinforcing from the north, actually knocking True's roach cluster back. True has a bit more army on the north coming through, but Nurture is about to meet it with superior army.
Oh, but this is big. They're burrows.
Yeah, but he has an Overseer, catches them and takes them out.
Oh, I'm surprised True unburrowed actually on the right-hand side. He might have been able to sneak past if he just held his breath and went silently, but...
if you close your eyes and hide in the corner, the Overseer won't see you.
Or maybe it will.
Or maybe not. We have the Spine Crawlers getting taken here from Nurture. True, though, with a lovely concave. Actually, some of these roaches not in the battle. Now they join the fight. So they're getting stuck behind their own forces. We have 5 Ultralists. Gonna have Chitinous very, very shortly on the way for True.
But they can't be there early enough here, it looks like.
They take a long time to hatch, and Nurture is using this time to put on some really big hurt to True here. Looks like a hatchery kill at least.
And the Ultra even was blocked here behind the rest of the units of True. Finally, he's there at the ramp. Only one of these guys can attack at once. He needs to pull back. And Nurture making the most of the situation against a way richer True. He had a bigger army. made the most of it. Now he's having to face Ultras. He's gonna have to kite. They are all units on multiple sides here of this army, though.
Now, Roaches actually can defeat Ultralisks in fights if they have the greater numbers. It depends on how many. I mean, it just literally comes down to numbers at that point. And Nerchio, with that damage, with that time that he's bought it for himself, is able to finally get this Lurker Den on the way.
Roaches can defeat every single unit in StarCraft 2, Maynard. Last game they defeated Mutas. And now they got a new challenge, the Ultras.
I think that might have been the Spore Crawlers. But
Well, you believe it in him, right?
7 Hydras on the way. They're getting up a number. Hydras with a Roach Meat Shield. Very good against True's army here. He still hasn't gotten... He didn't end up getting +3 attack, did he?
I'm surprised True's playing so passive when he's maxed out. He's giving a lot of respect here, I think, to Nerchio, whom he knows he's going to be maxed out and he's very dangerous with his own infestors. So right now, he's giving time for Nerchio to go into Lurkers, which again, is his comfort zone. He's one of the best with his units in StarCraft 2.
True getting up his extra bases on the south here. Nerchio with his army, he's being very defensive. He's locking it down tight. Needs time for that Lurker Den to finish. True posturing through the middle of the map. So
True up to
patient,
10
but such aggressive.
infestors.
Yeah.
If he lands those Fungals and has those Ultralisks at the front of his army, might be able to take a good fight, but I'm not sure this is the position.
That's an overextension from Nerchio, but he does fungal the front line of True, which gets stuck behind the fungal Ultras. Nerchio taking out a few of these Ultralisks before the fight begins.
It's crazy, actually. Nerchio is below 50 walkers, but Roaches are so cheap that he maxes out very easily anyway. He's managed his gas pretty well, even though he's a little bit starved on that right now. True might want to start working on his gas. He had like 3,000 minerals, 2,000 gas for a long time, but he spent most of that. And now is the time he's going to start on running out of gas, because those extractors in the main and natural are depleted.
That's right. Gas income in the later stages of the game, so important here as we get into those high-tech units.
Is Nerchio going to go?
Looks like it. The Lurkers are burrowed here. There's a lot of Overseers for True. Is this an overextension for Nerchio? Will the splash damage of these Lurkers shred the army? And it looks like Nerchio, with the Lurkers at the back line, putting out too much damage output for True to handle.
They did so much damage, now all the Ultras are gone, and True is going to have to evacuate that very important base. He can transfer these drones to the bottom one that he has, and he's going to want to look to try and counter-attack.
Nerchio feels this though, and he's coming back with his Lurker army. Pulling some of them back, gets the hatchery kill. The Lurkers are here. Fungal's coming down from True, does the shocking. Roach is here, pick these Lurkers off in time.
Yeah, True's right to bait these Lurkers here to come in the middle of the map so he finally could kill them. Most of them have already burrowed and they're not being detected here right now. Nerchio destroying everything that True has in the middle of the map.
He's going to kill the Infestors as well. Oh man, the Infestors are on the chase. Nerchio takes them out. True's in a terrible position here. Nerchio with a massive supply advantage in the end of game 3 here. He's going to continue to make this hurt worse and worse for True. He smells blood in the water, and a shark like Nerchio will never stop when he smells that blood in the water, Todd. I tell you that for free.
Thanks.
You're
that
welcome.
shark on the map, always smelling blood in the water and going for it. Nerchio with a huge supply lead here at this point. I don't know how True's supposed to win this one. He might try to go for a counter-attack, but Nerchio just has so much. These Lurkers, they were worth a lot of their weight in gold here.
0 gas income right now for True. 0. He's making Lings right now, which are terrible against everything that Nerchio has, but it's desperation time for the South Korean Zerg. He's against the ropes. The Polish Zerg large and in charge here. Some Roaches coming through, and they are tearing apart the mineral line here, just trading as efficiently as possible. That's True. He's trying to go for a burrowed Roach play, but Nerchio is all over this like white on rice. He's everywhere. He's just killing the Roach army. He's just trading efficiently everywhere, and now finds himself in a situation where he's up 100 supply. You don't lose from this position. Beautiful fungal from Nerchio, getting rid of what is left of the army of True. It's just a matter of time here for True to tap out. Nerchio just so far ahead. He's going to take the map advantage here and find himself on match point as we come into game 4. And game 3, just seconds from finishing. True mustering whatever he can, but I mean, he's making 30 links right now, Todd. 30 links. What are they going to do? You tell me. What are these 30 links going to do?
Not much. They're going to run across the map, Ty, and it's not going to be very helpful. He doesn't even have adrenal glands, doesn't have any melee upgrades on the attack. And in this case, True, it was going to be, I think, one last-ditch effort. Everywhere he goes, he keeps on getting fungal. Nerchio not even losing anything anymore. Resources lost, more than 10,000 difference.
Yeah, would have been a lot of that would have been in those Ultras. And True just going for desperation here. These Lings looking for hatchery kills, drone kills, whatever. I don't care if Nurchio loses every single hatchery. Nurchio cannot lose a battle against True right now. He is going to absolutely crush it. GG, 2-1 advantage for the Polish Zerg. Well played indeed. Oh, what a beautiful game there from Nurchio. He found himself on the back foot more than once there. And True played very, very well and up to his name, getting a little bit of help there from Penguin on the stage. But he's such a great Zerg, and this series is so close. I would not be surprised to see this go to Game 5 again. Let's go to the stage. Let's go to the, not the stage, let's go to the casting desk with Kolaris and the boys, see what they have to say.
I'll be anywhere you want me to be, Maynard, as we have a good, strong Game 3 coming out there. What was interesting overall about that for me is that True had a pretty substantial lead, and Nurchio, by tooth and claw, just brought it back everywhere.
It's not very normal to see the players taking big fights where one of them has 4,000 more resources than the other banked up to Remax, and still Nurchio able to bring it back. That last game was just bonkers.
I'm loving all games, actually. I think all 3 games have been very fun. A little bit of feedback there. Woo. But I think it's been a lot of fun. I mean, yesterday we had a great PvP between Showtime and Neep, and now these Zergs showing up. It's like, hey, it's not just PvP, that's all right. The ZVZ is actually super fun as well. I thought Game 1 was fantastic, because obviously Nurchio was super far behind in Game 1 as well, but he just did absolutely almost everything right, kept winning the fights, and at one point I actually thought he was going to win after he killed the gold, then perhaps overextended a little bit, and I feel like with the final wave of nothing but roaches, because that's all that True made in that game, True was able to get the victory. Game 2 was ridiculous with the Mudas, but super fun. And game number 3, I thought like, okay, we all know how good Nurchio is with his Infestors and Ravagers and Roaches, and when it comes down to these engagements, but not even Nurchio is going to turn this around. Well, I was wrong, because Nurchio still turned it around, while being down in upgrades and money and bases, really sick.
He's playing a spectacular series. I think watching those Mutas try to punch through all of those Spore Crawlers, probably one of the funniest things. I think every Zerg player has probably done that on ladder. Like when I try to play Zerg, I'm like, oh, Mutas are fun. Yeah, just once you get like 30 of them, oh, 5 spores, no big deal. And then they're all dead.
It feels like in ZVZ, when you do watch Muta versus a player that's not going Muta, there's 2 extremes. The Mutas either just kill you and win, or it's true base trade craziness. So for a Nurchio to be able to kind of crisis manage in some of those situations is very difficult, right?
Yeah. It was crazy. This series has been a very back and forth and unexpected results in a lot of the ways some of those fights played out as well.
What I do love a lot about that last game is that True was kind of playing into his image. You could see that Nurchio stopped droning when he was at 55, 56 drones. Because he's like, all right, I'm playing against True. This guy's going to make nothing but roaches. He's going to try to run me over. But True was actually kind of playing Nurchio's game, where Nurchio normally shines or excels, you know, when it comes down to it. But instead, True was doing it off 70 drones. So he created a massive lead for himself, which was brilliant in it by itself, because Nurchio is obviously paranoid about the image that True has, and also looking into game number 1 and 2, the non-stop aggression. But even though True created that big lead for himself, Nurchio is just that good in ZVZ that it didn't matter in the end.
All right, well, thank you very much. We're about to head back into game number 4 here. Nurchio 1 game away from the Grand Final to go up against Neeb. We'll head over to Todd and Maynard.
G'day guys, welcome back here at WCS Austin in the final day. Not too much longer to go in this series to see who makes it to that grand final. Currently the man just on screen there before we cut back to the stage, Nurchio, King Arthur, 1 map away from that final spot. Can he clinch this out in a 3-1? He has to beat this man, this god in the bottom left from Psystorm. This is True! And in the bottom right, on match point, this is Nurchio!
True's been putting up a pretty good fight. Look at the supply. Pretty early to look at it, but I love that sign. Thanks to you guys. Yeah, True's been putting up a pretty good fights for somebody who's facing one of the absolute best players of all time in StarCraft in the foreign scene in Nurchio. the I believe 3rd highest foreigner currently, behind Snoot and Stefano.
Wow.
We should overtake eventually if he keeps on posting results here. I'm sure that first place $25,000 is the prize that he's eyeing here in this tournament.
Oh, for sure. Now, True actually playing to his image there. Nurchio being safe. He's like, okay, I don't want this guy to speedling me again. It's like there's a high chance he's going to be doing it. So he got an early pull, and True just went, oh, I'm going to go hatch first. I'm going to hatch gas pull.
Yeah, it's really good when players start playing to their image like this, even though like it feels like it's a little bit late because right now it's 1 and 2. True gonna make that adjustment, and I like it a lot. You know, Nurchio, he does this mostly to try and make sure that he's safe against True's aggression, to match these build orders and have some units out early. It worked out very well in the previous game. You know, like if he can make it an equal game, and it was for the majority of the game, even though there were a couple Walker lead swings early on. Nurchio is almost always, I think, going to be favored against somebody like True. He said so himself. Past the 10 minutes, he shouldn't be losing to him.
Now, this is interesting from True. He's getting +1 melee for his Lings, so his Lings are going to be a lot tougher. But Nurchio's getting a Baneling Nest, and +1 attack Lings, they don't really help you much against Banelings. I mean, they can chip them down a little bit quicker, but it doesn't save them from a Baneling connection. You see that Nurchio is going to press this attack once the Baneling Nest is done.
Keep in mind, this is a map on which the natural base has a very wide ramp, and the third base is outside of that on the lower grounds. So there might be some sort of aggression here in the plans for True, where during the part where the third base is being taken, he's gonna want to make a ton of Zerglings and then hit. If there is no wall and he gets up that ramp, even if there is Banelings, is there gonna be enough Banelings to deal with all the Zerglings? Then it's up for his micro to decide. So a very dangerous build, but that can also backfire pretty quickly if you overcommit and then don't do the damage with it. We'll see though, if he chooses to actually commit a lot to aggression with this, which I believe should be the case.
Yeah, with +1, it makes a lot of sense. It's got the drone of Nurchio out and about on the map here. You need to go back to work, sir.
Everybody does.
Yeah, we're all working here. Got +1, nearly finished here for True. Speed nearly done for Nurchio. He is starting to get that link count on the way, but decided to concentrate on economy here. Just make the queens, get the drones up, and take his third by the looks of things.
And True wants that to happen here. The fact that he's been taken on the other side doesn't really matter, I think. Like, it's still on a very far and open side. We see True already starting the Zergling production there. He's going to stay on 31 walkers and make a ton of units. Nurchio is still droning up as +1 melee attacks is about to finish here.
So this is going to come down to whether or not Nurchio has a decent enough Baneling spread. Because again, even with +1 attack, as scary as these Lings will be, and as much as they will shred through other Lings and also hatcheries and queens, a Baneling connection will still kill them. Nurchio getting some of his Lings on the high ground here, but True is already knocking on that third base.
He starts +1 carapace as well here, so using his Evo for that. They'll be going for that base there. Let's see if he blows these Banelings up.
Nurchio coming up, those 3 Banes look like they're going to actually hatch here. Oh, actually a nice connection there for Nurchio. It looks like the third base may be okay here. True still rallying a lot of Lings, and perhaps not yet.
That's what he wants. He wants those queens to be there out of position, and then he's gonna start on running inside of the natural, inside of the main base, and try and overwhelm that location. So far, he's only focused. He's on that third base. He's trying to force the detonation from all of those Banelings here for Nurchio. If he can get on top of those queens eventually and kill him, that would be the big win that True needs to potentially overwhelm this position.
Yeah, he's got his sights on this third base for sure. He's really going ham against it, but I kind of agree with you. I think splitting up the forces would be pretty good for True here. Oh, there we go. He's going for the third base. The queens and Banelings not in position. They are coming up now. More for Nurchio on the low ground, though. Oh, that's a nice connection for True, getting a lot of Nurchio's Lings.
Gets not only the Banelings, but the Lings at the same time here. Definitely worth it.
And Nurchio's Lings are going to be struggling to find a good fight against True's Lings here, or a higher in number and better upgraded. The Banelings of Nurchio not connecting incredibly well there. True still with a large link count. Some of his Banelings are gonna get made, but Nurchio drops the rocks to the third.
That is so sick there. He's gonna close the gates for a very long time. Lings, they take forever to clean this up. So a big win here for Nurchio, who sealed off pretty well and defended excellently here so far, even though True did get some good Baneling connections.
And Nurchio is actually getting +1 attack for his own Lings, but True is still going to be up in upgrades when +1 Carapace finishes. That said, True's catching these Banelings being morphed from Nurchio. Nurchio needs to pull back here with the top group of Lings, but the southern group of Lings here going for the third base.
Nurture with a healthy Walker lead. True now gonna try to catch back up in that regard, dropping down his own Rotron. Whereas Nurture is still mostly Ling focused. And on the counter attack, you're a little bit across the map.
Yeah, getting a little bit of damage done on this third. I think he killed a Queen, a couple drones perhaps. Not too heavy damage here by Nurture. True with an overwhelming army here of Lings. And it's about to become a little bit scarier as Roach is on the way. Yeah.
Good night, Sweet Prince.
You'll live on in our hearts forever. Not really, I see many Overlords each game. So, third base for Nurture is up. He does have that income advantage. He's had it for a little while now.
Yeah. And
but
Rotron actually is dropped later than Truce.
Yeah, it's later than Truce, but he is getting a layer a little bit earlier. So there's kind of windows of opportunity for both players.
This keeps happening. He keeps on sneaking Zerglings across the map in that middle line, even though there are Overlords a little bit everywhere from True. Remember, Nurture moved out with Queens and took out that Overlord that was near, let's say, you know, between his natural and third base. And that's denying a lot of vision from True. The vision that he has here on the map is very limited.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting 6 drones to these Lings, not too shabby at all. He's coming in for another look, but these Lings getting met with too many forces of True. They do get deflected. The Roach count now starting to come out now for True, but also for Nurture. He's not too far behind. He's getting a second Evo Chamber to make sure that he catches up on upgrades too.
Remember, whenever it's an equal game, Nurture seems to be favored.
He's very confident if he manages to not take too much early game damage for sure. Very confident.
And so far it's been pretty equal. He was ahead for a little bit on the Walker count. Now True has caught back up. I don't think he minds too much, already being well set up on 3 bases. Nurture's going to be pretty happy with this situation a lot of the time. Lair now starts here for True. And clearer reconstitution now starts for Nurture. So that's something that True needs to catch back up on. ASAP, that's going to take a very long time actually to complete.
Yeah, well. Nurture's morphed a few Banes here, a couple Banes. And he's going to try and catch True unawares. A couple Banes heading through the third, actually getting a lot of the Lings there. The main story is the Roach count here, as it starts to get up a little bit for True. The army supply, though, hugely in favor of the Polish Zerg as he sits back and amasses his forces.
Yeah, 21 to 11. I mean, crossing the map and fighting is another story. It's not as easy as just looking at the numbers and saying we're going to fight right now. Obviously, there's going to be Queens in defense. Nurture also has a whole bunch of Banelings and some Spinecrawler to help with this. 4th base now starting for True.
Well, Nurture's going to have Roach speed a lot earlier. So with Roach speed, I think that he can start to press things, especially when it's +1 finishes for the Roaches. I think this is a good time.
Does he need to, though? That's the thing.
Oh, he doesn't actually.
Nurture is happy to take it to the later stages of the game, to go into Hive. In the previous game, he was actually behind at some point, and I thought he was going to be in trouble, but he made the most of the situation, dealt well with the huge army of True and his bank, was very cost-effective for a couple of fights, and then dealt with the Ultras with his own lurkers. Which actually begs the question, would True go for Ultras once again? Was it just a misstep, you know, with the fights that he took? Or was his tech also a problem against Nurture's lurkers?
I think Awkwards are, like, Ultras are a little awkward against, you know, on maps like Abyssal Reef, and this map maybe a little bit better. But we'll see if we even see Hive Tech from True. The Infestation Pit is on the way for Nurture. He knocks down the rocks as well to make sure that Nurture doesn't have extra attack paths, unfortunately crushing a Ling. Whoops. Ravages of True and the Lings batting away this little run by of Nurture. The Banelings and the Lings not going to get too much here. Nurture is sitting back on that creep, just powering ahead, getting extra gases.
Yeah, True's not making walkers anymore. He's only making units right now. Somehow he's 10 walkers ahead. You have to wonder, is there a chance True just masses and goes for an attack? Because right now it's looking like it. He's moving across the map, still trying to work on those debris here.
Yeah, really would like that opening. Nurture sees the move out of True and he's pulling all of his forces back to the creep. He has a large concave if he comes in from the top here with the Roaches and Ravages, but that said, a reinforcement from True from the left, giving him the advantage in this Roach headbutt, but the Queen's helping out the army of Nurture a fair bit with those transfuses, and also the extra damage from the back line. True getting deflected here.
And Nurture is so confident, he actually fights before the Infestors are even out there. Not that they were going to have any fungals anytime soon anyway, because they don't have pathogen glands, but he's like, you know what, you want to step on my side of the map, you better mean it, because I'm going to attack right into you and clean up a lot of your army there.
And Nurture, he thinks that he's got a big advantage here, and it's looking like it. He continues to bat True back, taking more and more of the army supply away from him. The army supply of Nurture is climbing, some of it needs to reinforce across the map. We've got one Infestor here, looks like it has fungal.
And it's similar to the previous game. True made a few walkers too many, it feels like. So the army of Nurture was actually bigger. One Fungal finally lands.
Yeah, Infested Terror is getting dropped out here for Nurture. Will the defender's advantage come through here for True? Or will Nurture just have too much? It looks like he actually has even more army supply now. The Infestor's still at the back, not doing a whole lot, but the Roaches and the Ravagers of Nurture looking like they might be too much. And True gets broken here. The hatchery of True under siege. Ravager Biles connecting with some of the Overlords. 3 Overlords there, knocking them down. And True's Roaches desperately trying to hold here. I think Nurture, it's just numbers, Todd. I think he just has too many. Oh, that's a lovely move there with the Bile, getting those eggs before they hatch.
And True even was at 1 upgrade here. I think he might have fought a little bit too early, just in a bad position. Nurture cleaned up, and this perfect counter attack here. You even mentioned it, you know, maybe he could attack. He didn't really need to, but he was like, you know what? I might as well. I'm confident enough, went for it, cleaned up. Now has the huge supply lead. True's trying to fight back. He's on the chase a little bit, but the soup never lies, Maynard.
That's right. And I think that if Nurture rallies his forces, which it looks like he's doing, he's going to be able to take this series. Todd, he's on match point. This could be it. The map here, the hatchery is going to go down, knocking True down to 3 base economy. He does still have a pretty fresh base at the top, but that is next on the list for Nurture. Doesn't go for the throat, doesn't go for the third. It looks like he's going to go for the top base here. Oh, a Fungal, and that's not a whole lot of army supply. I mean, True can't afford to lose any army. The Bile's coming down, but Nurture just microing out of them. He's just going to continue to press this advantage. Nurture is still just rallying units. There's a stream of red dots heading across the map. And True getting battered away from his own defense network. He can't even stop this army from coming up into his natural. And that is surely too much. That is going to be it. True getting taken out here by the Polish Zerg. Oh, Nurture is just so good at this matchup. I've seen it time and time again. His expertise in ZVZ shining through here on stage at WCS Austin. Well played by Nurture, well played by True, but the Polish Zerg will be the finalist to face Need in the grand final. Beautiful series from Nurture. The smile of an assassin as he takes out the South Korean Zerg True, who's been training so very hard. He said it before. True's been training very, very hard here for this tournament, and it shows. He got all the way to the semis, but Nurture, this god for the European scene, too strong in the end. Let's go to Smix with an interview with the winner.
Thank you very much, Maynard. Congratulations, Nurture. You are headed to the grand finals where you will be facing Neeb. This is your 7th grand final in your career, the 3rd at a DreamHack. How happy are you right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy, but well, I'm not that happy yet because I will have to face Neeb, and I think he's a very, very strong player right now.
Speaking of Neeb, since you brought him up, let's just talk about him then. I saw that the last 5 times you played, it was in online cups, and he did win the last 5 times, but that being said, a lot of the losses were very close. It was always like 2-3, 1-2, 2-3. So what do you think of him as a player and your chances against him?
I actually think my ZVP is not very good, but I can always make something happen. Against Showtime, against Neeb, it's always very close. So I will try my best, although I think in best of 7, it's a lot harder to surprise your opponent. Well, yeah, I will do my best.
And of course, we need to talk about this particular series. So much action, especially against a player like True. Let's talk about Abyssal Reef. At one point of the game, True was ahead both economically and in upgrades after he canceled your +3. But how are you able to go from a situation like that to come back and win the game?
I mean, ZVZ works like this right now. You can get a nice Fungal along with the Ravagers, and you can come back into the game. Actually, these games went exactly like every match against True goes for me. So it's not really one-sided, but in the end, I managed to win.
All right, and a last question for you. What is it like to play in front of this American audience? Because obviously you as a player, you've been playing all around the world, in Europe and Poland most recently, and now you're here in Texas, Austin. So what do you have to say to the fans here?
Yeah, unfortunately, last year I couldn't come, or I decided not to come because it was too close to Valencia. So, well, I'm happy to be here this year.
All right, well, congratulations again, Nurture. With that, he will be heading to the grand finals where he will be facing Neeb.
Phenomenal showing from Nurchio there, advancing on into the grand finals for WCS Austin as he takes down True 3-1. I'm joined at the desk by the boys once again, as, of course, even in that last game there, in game number 4, it really seemed like True felt like he had to try and exert himself early on in the game, and Nurchio was just kind of able to bear the storm, really.
I feel like that's what we talked about before the match was going to happen. You know, that was going to be True's plan. Nurchio said it himself on the stage, like, this is how a lot of my series go with him. You know, it wasn't one-sided, but it really was just about Nurchio doing his thing, weathering the storm, and making it happen. Just even going back to that other game, I think it was 3 we were talking about before, where he had this super big deficit in terms of the resource count. He was able to play those long games and figure things out, and the longer the game went on, just really excellent decision-making by Nurchio.
Yeah, it feels good to be on the point for once, right, guys? You know, most of the time we just stand there and we're completely wrong. We couldn't be more wrong. We always look so stupid.
Finally right for once in my life.
Finally, I feel like the pre-game analysis was pretty on point. That's kind of how we expected the series to play out. And Nurchio makes it all look so, or he makes it sound and look so simple. He's like, yeah, that's how it works. You know, just learn the fungo and then you can come back. But that was a remarkable comeback.
Press F to kill Army.
On Abysso, and even that last game, you know, at a certain point, I felt that True was making good moves as well, where he was sending quite a few roaches via the south side. Left some space and then came in with the second wave. But Nurchio is just so quick on the fly to adapting that. He's like, all right, well, that means this army on the south is a little smaller. You see him immediately dive on some of these Ravagers. And then it's beautiful. It's almost like Zerg Art, how he pulls a couple of units back to make sure that always everything is standing in a perfect concave. And like Maynard said as well, he had the queens in the back and Nurchio's like, all right, you kind of surprised me, but I still like how this is going right now, so then he just pushes it back. Yeah, masterclass of ZVZ by Nurchio. There's no other way to put it.
In a similar fashion to how we saw Special unfortunately go out in the round of 4 as well. True, we're expecting to see a lot of him coming into this season for WCS. He bags himself $6,500 as well as 900 WCS points. So it's not small change. Even in the WCS points department, that's a really good start for him this year.
True's not going anywhere. We're going to see him throughout the rest of the year for sure, and possibly could take a victory himself at some point. He definitely has the capability, just needs to keep working out. And I think one of the biggest things about the way this system works is he has to play against these guys a lot in those challenger brackets, in these online tournaments. They get a lot of games versus him. It helps you practice. We've seen it happen to so many Koreans that have moved out and started playing in the international scene. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, I still think it's been a very good run for him. I mean, it's always easy to talk about an easy bracket for True. That's something that a lot of people have brought up when he won Montreal. And they've been kind of saying it here as well. But I don't think his group stages were particularly easy, but he just went through in a way that we expect him to go through. And in the bracket, he took out Uthermal 3-0. Of course, there's an argument to be made that Uthermal is not on top of his game right now, and it's not the best mark we've ever seen. But, you know, if you give him room in the games to actually get some confidence, there's a good chance that that Uthermal train starts rolling. And then suddenly everybody loses, yeah, well, Uthermal's really good. So it's never easy. And he also stopped Chem, who's been on an absolute roll. So I think this is a result that True can be pretty proud of. Obviously, he'll probably, you know, once you're this close, you always want more. You want to make it to the final. You maybe even want to win a trophy. Again, lift that trophy always feels good. But like you said, I think solid start of the WCS season for True.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Of course, we are getting prepared now for the grand finals, as we do have Nurchio going to be going up against Neeb. So there's not only a strong Protoss in the grand final for WCS Austin, there's also a brutal Protoss coming to Co-op Commander.